adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Whoa. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughan Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughan Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education, and we're here with you today to share some updates, some activities, and of course, we have a slight change in schedule, our regular schedule. Traditionally, we would have the ECCB Children's Connection program on the third Saturday of the month. We did not feature the ECCB Children's Connection program in April, and so we will do that today. We will still continue on to regular schedule, so we will have the next edition on the third Saturday of the May edition on the third Saturday of the month of May. And of course, this is our first Youth on the Go session for the month of May. The year seems to be bolting past us, it's flying by, and I hope that we are taking some time out and enjoying the moments, because even though it's passing by so quickly, there are many moments that I think that we need to ensure that we treasure. We are in the third term of the academic year. We have many activities happening in the area of youth, the area of sports. We have a few activities coming up for the Nevis Public Library, and of course the Information Technology Department within our ministry works consistently around the clock, all year long, behind the scenes, ensuring that many of the things that we get done, and sometimes we may not see them, may not feel them, but when anything goes wrong, we know that they were there and are there and will be there to fix whatever needs to get done. And so I'm going to bring some updates for you in the first half, and then we'll transition. Jeremy will join us in the second half of the show, and we will present the ECCB Children's Connection program. Just some quick announcements, reminders. Applications for the prospective teachers course, the application process has commenced. Will commence on Tuesday. Monday is a holiday, and so the process will commence on Tuesday, and that will run until May 24th. Application forms can be collected at the Department of Education at Marion Heights, and I want everyone to remember that the minimum qualifications in terms of subject passes, we expect a minimum of 5 CXC CSEC subjects, grades 1 through 3. Those are passes. And we also expect that in addition to the minimum qualifications, that you bring a positive attitude and mindset. We want persons to understand that teaching should not just be considered a job, another job, or a job that you walk through and go through just to get a salary, but that we have the potential to mold children in a very positive way and to shape them into well-functioning adults. And so part of the criteria, the hidden criteria, the unwritten criteria, has to be that you possess those qualities, that you're kind and that you're caring yet firm. And I think over time we're losing that, and the children have been saying it as well, that it is possible, listeners, to be kind yet firm, and so have that empathy and wisdom and those qualities that will really shape us into strong individuals. We do not expect by any stretch of the imagination that anyone will come out of the gate perfect, and so we know that there is always room for growth no matter how long you've been at something, and that is why we ask for an open and positive mindset. And so the application process, as I said, will close out on May 24th, and the course proper will run from June 17th through 28th, 2024. the subjects, I said a minimum of 5 CXC C6 subjects. I want to expound on that a bit more. The expectation is, of the 5, you should have English A, mathematics, and both at the general level. Some persons did theirs in the early 2000s, and what we've seen is that people have brought us certificates for the CXC basic. CXC no longer offers the basic English and math, but persons who may have been on a different career path and completed their high school education many years ago may have attempted the CXC basic, passed the CXC basic, and try to present that to us. That is not acceptable. So it is general proficiency, mathematics, and English A. We have also seen some persons who have brought us their CCSLC pass, and remember that the CXC has various examinations. The CPEA, we do not do that here. It's a primary school examination. They have the CCSLC, they have the CSEC, and the CAPE. We accept CSEC and CAPE for persons who are interested in becoming teachers. We do not accept passes in CCSLC, and so that is, please note that if you present those certificates, that you will not be considered for the position. We are trying to articulate what is expected from the onset so that we are clear and we are able to act accordingly. In addition to those 2 subjects, one must possess the social science. Examples of social sciences are geography, history, and social studies. Those are some examples of social sciences. So you should have at least 1 social science and 1 science, and that could be one of the physical sciences, chemistry, physics. It could be natural sciences, physical sciences, chemistry, physics, biology, integrated science, agricultural science. Any of those sciences would be considered acceptable. And then the 5th subject could be any other subject offered by the Caribbean Examination Council. Please note also that the passes, the grades which are considered to be passes, are grades 1 through 3. We have had persons who have presented returned grades of grade 4 and are attempting to access the course. Those will not be accepted. Alright, so that is the prospective teachers course, and we wish everyone who is interested or who may express their interest via application the very best in this process, and it will continue, as I said, with the course proper for those who may need to take vacation or adjust their schedule accordingly. The course proper will run from June 17th through 28th. I also want to announce that the applications for the summer job attachment are currently available at the Department of Youth at upstairs the Reliable Motors Miniplex, and the summer job attachment is specifically for school leavers, and we've had persons, adults in the community who are maybe unemployed, who have reached out. We also have students who may not be school leavers who have reached out, and so we want to ensure that everyone understands that the summer job attachment program is geared towards school leavers. The deadline for application is May 24th, 2024, and the interviews run from June 3rd to June 14th. The training runs from June 17th to 21st. The volunteer projects run from June 24th to June 28th, 2024. So those are the dates that you need to keep in mind, because all of those dates, well, you have to complete all of the requirements of the summer job attachment program to be considered and to be considered as completing the process. So we look forward to seeing you. If you're interested, school leavers, in the summer job attachment program, please stop by the Department of Youth. It's right there by the Reliable Motors gas station upstairs, and you can have a conversation with one of the youth officers, and they'll be able to guide you through the process. I also want to announce to the general public that the annual Spelling Bee, the Interscholastic Spelling Bee, hosted by the Department of Education, will take place this Friday, May 10th, and we have the primary section in the morning, 9 a.m., the secondary section in the afternoon at 1 p.m. And the primary section covers grades 3 and 4, the secondary grade forms 1 through 3, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from our spellers. This year, as per usual, we have sponsorship coming from the Lawnet Mills Charitable Fund in collaboration with the Navis Association of South Florida. We also have some contributions from HarperCollins. They present some of the prizes, or they donate some of the prizes, which are presented to the participants and winners of the Spelling Bee. The Spelling Bee will take place at the Jessup's Community Center, and so we know that it's a smaller venue than our usual venue, but we still encourage parents and the general public to support our students in everything, to support our spellers. And so we look forward to seeing you and your continued support of our students. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Always satisfying. Vaughn Radio, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners or viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Ministry of Education Natal, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here with you this morning. I've shared some updates, very important information for you in terms of activities which are scheduled to commence in short order, and I hope that you will stay connected, stay in tune with what's happening, that you would ensure that your students or young people, depending on the activity, are able to access the opportunities accordingly. And a reminder to support our spellers on Friday at the annual Interscholastic Spelling Bee. Before we transition into the ECCB Children's Connection program at the bottom of the show, I wanted to also take some time out to remind parents of students who will be commencing their academic journey at preschool, primary school, or secondary school that it is mandatory for each parent to complete the student application form, and this obtains for persons who are enrolling for the first time. It obtains for persons who are transferring as well. And so the forms are available at the government preschools, government primary schools, actually for kindergarten enrollment, and then also all public and private primary schools for those students who are in grade 6 and transitioning to secondary school. So please note that at each level we need to make sure that the student enters the school, their new school or their initial school with all of the relevant information, that the updated file is taken of the student, and so it is imperative that the form be properly completed, that we capture all of the information that we need to capture so that we can properly support your child throughout his or her academic journey. We have received several questions and several calls in relation to the forms, especially for those students transitioning to the secondary school. Approximately 3 years ago or so, we started this process because what we found is that the secondary schools did not have a robust file on the students entering, and so we wanted to make sure that they had all of the information and, of course, as I said, the up-to-date information. So please complete that. There have been some questions in relation to the attached documents, the documents that are expected to be taken to the school along with the application form. For nationals, you are expected to take a passport-sized photo. A passport-sized photo, not the child's passport. That's something that we have had a challenge with. For nationals, we're expecting a passport-sized photo. We're expecting the child's birth certificate. There are some children who are nationals by citizenship, and so they were able to get their citizenship. They were not necessarily born here, but they got citizenship, and in those cases we would need their citizenship certificate. So we still need the birth certificate, but if they were not born here, we would need their citizenship certificate. We also need a proof of residential address, and that could be a bill or a bank statement or something along that line within the last 3 months. That shows that you, as proof that you reside where you say that you reside. As you are aware, we have zoning stipulations as to where students should attend school based on where they live, and so we need to have your proof of address or the proof of address of the applicant. We also would need, for those transitioning, we would need your school transcript or school report, those transitioning in from primary to secondary, and those transferring from one school to another, or coming from a private institution to public, or coming from overseas, may have your citizenship but you're coming from overseas. We would need to have that report or transcript. And then we would need the parent or guardian's national ID, a copy of that. In some instances, if it's the guardian, in some form of an affidavit or some document which shows that you are the guardian, legal guardian for the student. For non-nationals, you should apply directly at the Ministry of Education, and you would need a child's passport size photo, the parent's passport, so this is where it's different, this is for non-nationals, the parent's passport, the parent's visa or work permit, the proof of permanent residence, the child's birth certificate, the child's passport. We would need the school or report transcript for the child based on where the child went to school previously, an affidavit if necessary, letter from National Security, a receipt from National Security, the child's student visa, proof of residential address, immunization record, and letter from the health center. The free movement stamp, if applicable, should be in the passport. So if you are a non-national and you're here via free movement, then you would need that stamp in the passport as well. We also ask parents to declare student medical information so that we can properly support our students, and so if there are any disabilities that your child has been diagnosed with or even suspected, you can there's a space for a note if you would want us to assist or support you in further exploring any suspected disabilities. But if any diagnosed disabilities, which include sight, hearing, mobility, or speech, and there is also a box for other. We have additional information including learning and behavioral or developmental issues. And we know that, for example, there are some students who have been diagnosed with ADHD, who have been placed somewhere on the autism spectrum based on assessments, and so those are the types of disclosures that we will need. There are some parents who do not feel comfortable sometimes disclosing, and parents, it only takes a few hours for us generally to notice that there are delays or there are issues or challenges. So it is prudent for us to get the information from you early, or prudent for you to present it, so that we can assist and support. Some parents are fearful about disclosing that type of information. Please note that most of the students who have developmental challenges and are high functioning are allowed to be part of an inclusive classroom setting. Some parents become nervous about the possibility of students being transitioned to the Cicely Brown Integrated School. If the decision is to transition any children to the Cicely Brown Integrated School, we have a revolving door policy there at Cicely Brown, where the aim is not to keep students within the school, but to transition them out as quickly as possible, as long as they have the skills to be able to function effectively with their peers in an inclusive classroom setting. And so, as I said, it is best for us to have the full disclosure, to start that conversation from the onset, because it doesn't take long for educators to note if something is not as it should be, and then we would have to go through the exploration phase. So you would actually be helping us if you disclosed. As I said, some children may have ADHD diagnosed, some children may have be on the autism spectrum, some may have dyslexia diagnosed, some may have some speech delays, and those are the types of disclosures that we would like for you to give. We ask you to sign an initial at every place where you're expected to do so, or the form will be rendered incomplete. Also note that we will not accept incomplete forms, because what persons have done is that they tend to try to drop off an incomplete form, then claim they'll come back, and time runs all the way down, and then they show up at the school stating that they dropped off the form. And so we're not accepting incomplete forms, because it has been a great challenge trying to get these forms completed when parents have allowed the time to pass by so quickly. Note that the deadlines stipulated by your child's school or by the school that you are making the application to are important for you to abide. It is important that you abide by those deadlines, because at the end of the process we have to go through the vetting, and we are gearing towards our second annual transition day, where all students go through an orientation of sorts of what is to come for the next school year. And the transition day has been very useful to our teachers. It has been useful for us as a system to gather some much needed data, and transition day is scheduled from May 31st, 2024, and we have to process over in each cohort is about 200, so you're looking at processing over 600 applications within a 2 to 3 week period, ensuring that everything is in order. So parents, we're asking you to stay ahead of it, to make sure that your child is registered for the new school year and that you can be part of this experience as well. No incomplete forms will be accepted. You will have to complete them before they are accepted for processing. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll be back with the ECCB Children's Connection program.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know, we're gonna have a grand time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
8:60 a.m. The Powerhouse.
Connecting the children of our EC region with good information and excellent mentoring. They started us early and making it easy to manage our money and make a real good living. They linking the children with excellent mentoring.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome to the ECCB's Children's Connection Program. I'm your host, Zahnela Claxton, and with me is our co-host,
Journey Hodge. Good morning, everyone.
All right, and Journey, what was the last thing that you bought yourself? I'm sure it's gum.
No, lunch.
Lunch, okay. All right. And did you really need lunch?
Yes.
You think so? Okay, I think so too. Or was it something that you thought would be nice to have?
I needed
You
it.
needed it, yes. We all partake in what is called consumerism. Let's take a quick break, Ajane, and we will be right back to talk all about consumerism and being responsible consumers. Stay tuned.
Connecting the children of our EC region with good information and excellent mentoring. They started us early and making it easy to manage our money and make a real good living. They linking the children with excellent mentoring.
Hi once again, boys and girls, and welcome back to the ECCB Children's Connection Program, a program produced and delivered by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Before the break, we introduced a very interesting word, consumerism. Consumerism. Ajane, what familiar word do you hear when you hear the term consumerism?
Consumer.
Consumer. And in terms of consumerism, we hear the word consumer, like Ajane said. And what do you think, or what do you know about a consumer? What do you think a consumer is?
A consumer is someone who buys or collects the goods or services of a company or place.
All right. So a consumer is someone who buys goods and services. And for our listeners out there, can you spell the word consumer? Consumer for our listening friends.
Consumer is spelled CONSUMER. CONSUMER. Consumer.
And I hope the students took note of that, especially those who are taking part in the spelling bee. Might just show up, I'm just saying. But consumer is an important, or being a consumer is important to our day-to-day living. And Ajane, would you consider yourself a consumer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so what are some of the things that you or your parents buy?
Groceries, that's like food to eat or our daily essentials. And we buy clothes and
Yes.
bags and things for school. So yeah.
Yes, correct. It is necessary that we purchase goods and services in order to survive and to live comfortably in our daily lives. Let's look at some of the things that we may regularly buy that we need to survive. And Jenna, can you think of anything that we would buy? And I think you might have mentioned some already. Anything that we buy that we need to survive, and we've talked about needs and wants, so you understand the
Our
difference.
basic needs
Mhm.
as food, clothing, water, and then for more purposes, maybe housing.
Okay, wonderful. And some of the things that we buy regularly that we need include, like you said, food, water, and clothing. I think it comes down to our basic needs. We also need shelter to survive, and that's why we build or rent the houses that to live in. And so, Ajana, what are the things that we do not necessarily need to survive? Because there are some things that we buy or some services that we access that we don't necessarily need.
We don't need an excess amount of clothes
Okay,
because some
true.
people buy too much clothes.
Mhm.
And we don't necessarily need, and this one is for me, candies and those things, especially chewing gum. You don't need too much of that, but yeah, that's for me.
Some days you think that you need it, but it's not really need.
And then we are more dependent on electronics, but we only need one, really and truly. We don't need every electronic in the world right now. We only need one, like a phone for when we have online classes. And I don't know anything else like that, but there are probably many, many more things.
Yes, and so like you said, electronics and excess. I like the excess amount of clothes because yes, we need clothes, but you don't need to have 70 pairs of shoes. You don't need to have 150 different outfits. You don't need a new outfit for every event or occasion or every Sunday when you go to church, and you're not going to wear the same outfit again. Those take the needs over to wants, and so that's the thin line there. We look at things like movie tickets and cars and games and toys for children or our listeners. Those are some of the things that we do not need. They are in fact wants. There are many things that we want because they are nice to have. That's why we want them. Those things include games and toys. But without them, we can still survive. Believe it or not, Ajane. There is nothing wrong with purchasing these items. The problem occurs when we are not responsible enough with what we purchase. Many people buy things that they can do without simply because they see it and they want it. This results in having too many things, too much stuff. That's where consumerism comes in. Consumerism is when consumers buy goods and services that is much more than what is necessary for survival. And so let's spell the big version, because we went through consumer. Let's spell the big word for our friends, our listeners. And I say for those especially who might be in the spelling bee, take note. Go ahead, Ajane.
Consumerism. 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 CONSUMERISM.
Wonderful. So let's look at a very common example of consumerism. You have a video game that your parents got you for your birthday. Your best friend just got the latest version of the same game. When you get home from school, you ask your dad to get you the new version, like your friend has. Your dad buys you the new game. Did you really need the new game?
No, I didn't.
And that happens a lot with phones.
Everybody sees the latest iPhone or Samsung. I'm like, can I get that one, please?
Yes, and you just upgraded last year,
yeah.
and then you want to upgrade this year, and that's something to be mindful of. You did not, like you said, need the new game since the one you had worked perfectly. However, because your friend has the new one, you wanted to be like him. And can you think of any other examples of consumerism, Ajane?
Okay, another example is when we watch someone when they have on this outfit and we decide, oh, I want to wear that for interprimary, for example. I have people who would say around me, I don't have anything to wear, and I'm like, you can mix and match. And they'd be like, but I have to go and order this, I have to go and order that, and this hasn't reached yet, so I don't think I'll be able to come. And I often wonder, well, why?
because they have things in their closet,
Yeah.
right? I think it's a cultural thing. And so some things that lead to consumerism include excitement about a product or service. They're just excited that something new is out and they want it. Comparing yourself to others, boys and girls, we have to listen to this one. Your parents may not be in the same financial situation, and you do not, as other person's parents, and you don't want to put yourself or your parents in a place where you're comparing yourself to others and putting yourselves in debt. We talked about debt some weeks ago as well. The feeling of satisfaction when you buy a new item, just being happy that you have something new. Being influenced by ads and programs on TV and on the internet, and for those who are on social media, ads pop up all the time, and there's so many things coming at you that you are sometimes influenced and you just click on it and you purchase it. Having a sense of importance if you have a certain product that others do not have, and that comes down to things like the phone, things that make you feel superior to others, certain types of shoes, those considerations. Having a love for trendy items like the latest outfits, shoes, or hairstyles, and we know the hairstyles are not cheap, especially when you have to get your wigs and your some of the braided styles. Then they're not necessarily cheap. Feeling isolated or less important if all of your friends have the new item and you do not. And so those are some of the things that we have to manage. And parents who are listening, you have to also have those conversations with your children as well, being honest and upfront with them and setting your standards in your household. Ajane, have you ever experienced any of these things that we listed? Having a love for trendy items, feeling isolated or bad because your friends have something that you don't, or wanting what they have, and that type of thing?
Not all, but I've had a moment where I used to compare myself to others, and I wanted to fit into the group. But then I realized it's when you fit in, people don't really see the amazing things in you, and you just look like every other person and you don't stand out. Standing out is really special. So I try to stand out instead of trying to fit in with the crowd, because people won't notice me if I'm trying to fit in.
That's true. That's true. And when you stand up, boys and girls, make sure you're standing out in a positive way, that you're making positive choices. We do not want you to stand out in a negative way where you're getting into trouble or causing confusion or chaos. And there's nothing wrong with purchasing goods and services to make your life easier and more comfortable, Ajane. However, we have to practice what is referred to as responsible consumption. Responsible consumption is about consuming goods and services based on our real needs. It also refers to choosing options that are good for the environment and society on a whole. Sometimes we buy too many products, more than we actually need. Too many clothes, too many toys, too many electronic devices are examples. And Ajana, do you think we could try to make the best of what we have without buying new things that will be totally unnecessary? Do you think that?
Yes, I do.
All right, so responsible consumerism is based on what is known as the 3R principle. Hint, hint, the three words begin with R. That's three words that begin with the letter R. The 3 R's in the 3 R's principles are reduce, reuse, recycle. And I think I grew up hearing these 3 R's, and you've been hearing them all the time, and so you've heard them before as well. There are many ways you can make the 3R principle work for us, which can reduce consumerism and help our environment. For example, your mom or dad can take along 1 or 2 large shopping bags when they go to the supermarket. The goods they buy can be placed in those large bags, and what do you think that this would help to reduce?
Pollution.
Okay, perfect. And so this will help to really reduce the number of plastic bags in the environment, and therefore help the environment, as you said, reduce pollution. Can you think of or give us any other examples of the second R in the R principle, which is reuse?
Okay, when we have plastic bottles from drinks, instead of throwing it away, we can wash it out and use it again if we have any more drinks at home to bottle. And with the plastic bag scenario, what we do at home, I think this happens in almost every home. You would take the plastic bags, and instead of throwing them away right away, you would save them and use them as garbage. and then you get rid of them, but you always reuse it for something else.
Perfect. So you repurpose it in a sense. And there are many things we can reuse to avoid too much waste. For example, we can reuse the blank side of a sheet of paper to make notes or to draw instead of taking a new sheet of paper. So sometimes you have a paper and there's something written on the front, you don't need that anymore, you can mark it off, or sometimes there's a misprint and we just want to throw it away. You can actually use it the other side of the paper. There are two sides, for those who didn't realize. There are two sides of the paper. You turn it over and you keep going. We can use them to store items. Another example is to reuse glass jars or bottles when they become empty, and like you said, juice bottles and water bottles. We can use them to store items such as pencils, crayons, and markers, which could help keep our rooms neat and organized. What about the third R, which is recycle? Can you think of any example of recycling?
Yes, the Taiwan ICDF does it every third Friday, I think, by Big Six, where we live. And you would walk with your water bottles or whatever plastic items you have or cans, and you carry it to them. And how you can know when to recycle, it has the arrow kind of triangular thing, and it would say recycle, and it would highlight which one to recycle and which one not to recycle.
Yes, and I know in some countries, and I'm seeing that we're getting there slowly with the program that the Solid Waste Management Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Taiwan ICDF has been in place for a bit, but in some countries there's strict recycling, so even in your homes you have your recycling, because you cannot mix and you can be fined for mixing those things. I went to the zoo recently, and at the zoo every time you met a waste station, you had your bottles, your paper, and the different types of waste identified, and you put it in the proper one. And so that is becoming international standard, and we see some recycling stations here, as I said, but we are going to get there where we have the different types of materials being seen. We can recycle materials such as plastic, glass, and cardboards. Many countries and cities have recycling programs where these materials are recycled to be used to manufacture other products, for example, recycling paper, cardboard to make books. Consuming goods we do not need could be more damaging to our planet. That's why it is very important to change some of the habits that we have and be more responsible in our consumption. Did you know that 8 million tons of plastic end up in the oceans every year? The plastic is very harmful to the fish and other sea creatures. This will affect us in the future since we get a lot of our food from the ocean, and we live right next to the ocean. We are surrounded by water. On our next program, we will explore the 3R principle even more to learn how we can behave responsibly and help each other and help make our planet a better place to be through our practices. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back with our in-call segment.
Connecting the children of our EC region with good information and excellent mentoring. They started us early and making it easy to manage our money and make a real living. They're linking the children with excellent mentoring.
All right, it's calling time, so we have to hear from our listeners. Welcome back, and let's see if our friends remember what we learned today about consumerism and responsible consumption. Please call us at 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700 for a chance to win some fun prizes. All you have to do is be the first to answer one of the questions correctly. And Ajani will read the question. She'll read each question twice. She'll read all 5 questions, and when you call in, you will indicate which question you want to answer. Be quick to call, because of course my friend Oliver has to fly in. And so Ajani, go ahead and read the questions for us.
Question number 1. What is a consumer? What is a consumer? Question number 2. True or false? Consumerism is when consumers buy goods and services that is much more than what is necessary for survival. True or false? Consumerism is when consumers buy goods and services that is much more than what is necessary for survival. Number 3, multiple choice. Which word is not part of the 3R principle? A. Recycle. B. Reuse. C. Reduce. Or D. They are all part of the 3R principle. Multiple choice. Which word is not part of the 3R principle? A. Recycle. B. Reuse. D. Reduce. C. Reduce. Or D. They are all part of the 3R principle. Number 4. Fill in the blank. Dash consumption is about consuming goods and services based on our real needs. Dash consumption is about consuming goods and services based on our real needs. And number 5, true or false? 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans and seas every year. Number 5, true or false? 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans and seas every year.
All right. So the numbers to call: 469-1616, 469-1700, and you just say which question you want to answer, and Jeremy will tell you if your answer is correct or incorrect. Jeremy, read the questions one more time, just once. For those at any point, callers, you can call in and share your answers.
Number 1, what is a consumer? Number 2, true or false? Consumerism is when consumers buy goods and services that is much more than what is necessary for survival. Number 3, multiple choice. Which word is not part of the 3R principle? A. Recycle. B. Reuse. C. Reduce. Or D. They are all part of the 3R principle. Number 4. Dash consumption is about consuming goods and services based on our real needs. And number 5. True or false? 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans and seas every year.
All right, so we have some questions on the table. Parents, children, call in 469-1616-1700. We just have about 2 minutes before we have to transition, because you know we have to make way for Oliver, and he is going to fly in come what may on time. And so if you have the answer to any of these questions that were just asked, feel free to call us at 469-1616, 469-1700, and you collect your prize at the end of the process. You collect your prize at the Department of Education at Marion Heights, and we look forward to hearing from you. I'm hoping you were listening and not sleeping in today, but we had a very interesting conversation on consumerism, and I think that it might have hit home for some of our, especially our older students, a journey, and determining what you need, what you want, and the impact what you need and want versus want can have on the environment and our general society. And I don't think that we ever looked at the big picture of being consumers, or the big picture of how, for children, I just want what I want. And they don't necessarily think about the implications or the impact that their decisions can have. So I think that sharing the information that we're able to share today will go a long way in helping them to make the proper decisions. We have 30 seconds, and then Oliver will have to fly on in. So 469-1616, 469-1700. And Jenny, just run us through the questions one last time. If you hear any question that you know, listeners, you can call in and just stop us from stop the process, and that will be fine.
Number 1, what is a consumer? Number 2, true or false? Consumerism is when consumers buy goods and services that is much more than what is necessary for survival. Number 3, multiple choice. With which word is not part of the 3R principle? A. Recycle, B. Reuse, or C. Reduce? Or D. They are all part of the 3R principle. Number 4. Dash consumption is about consuming goods and services based on our real needs. Number 5. True or false? 8 million tons of plastic end up in our oceans and seas every year.
All right, Ajani, we're going to have to field this maybe another week or another time because Oliver is right here. I hear his wings flapping, and you know how owls' wings can be a little bit low because they're a little bit slow in moving around because they're wise old owls. And so, boys and girls, are you ready to hear from our wise old friend Oliver? I believe he has a very important word to share with us today. Let's listen to hear what that word is.
Hi there, boys and girls. I am back with you at Oliver's Treehouse with another wise word for the month of April. Positivity. Ooh, yeah. Have you ever heard of that one? Well, let me tell you what this word is about. It comes from the root word positive, and it means the practice of being optimistic or positive in your attitude. So, boys and girls, always try to think of good, wholesome, kind thoughts that can help you to make it in life. And parents, this one is for you. Encourage your children with positive words. Boys and girls, always remember the scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Stay positive. You can do it. Now back to your host.
Thank you so much, Oliver, for introducing our word for today. You sound positively happy today, Oliver, and it's always great to have you. Ajani, would you consider yourself to be a positive person?
Yes, I would.
Okay, you may hear people talk about our mindset. Your mindset is your thinking style. We can think about bad things sometimes or all the time, and we can think about good things. When we think about good things, we have a positive mindset or thinking style. Thinking about good or positive things is like turning on the sunshine in your mind, like that. This means you're finding good things to think about even when not so good things are going on. We all have days where we feel like the world is going to end and it's, absolutely dismal because so many bad things are happening to us. But at the journey, have you ever had one of those days?
Yes, I have those days when deadlines are coming for school and I just feel like I can't get them done.
I hear you. I think I'm in that space right now. And so when we practice to think positively, we learn and grow from challenges. This is because the challenges force us to find positive ways to solve our problems. Positive thinking makes our minds happier. When we have bad thoughts, those thoughts can go and get stronger and take over our minds for a long time. That is why it is important to think positively no matter what. Turning on the sunshine in our minds can help us in many ways, like doing well in school, getting better at a sport that we love, and getting along with our friends and family. Let's see how we can turn some negative thoughts into some positive thoughts. For example, a negative thought, I hate math. I always get a low mark on tests. Positive thought. Math is very important. It's a very important subject, and I will keep trying harder on every test to get better marks. How can you change this negative thought into a positive one, Ajani? I don't think my friends like me very much. They never invite me to parties.
Okay, I can change it to say, I don't think my friends invite me to parties because I'm always trying to get work done. I'm a very busy person, so they understand that.
Okay, so you can change this negative thought into a positive thought by saying parties are always on a Saturday afternoon when I can't go, like you said, or something's happening and I can't attend, and I'll see if they can have the parties on a Sunday afternoon instead, or something along that line. Having a positive mindset is like making your mind brighten up with the positivity all the time. When you have a negative thought about a situation, prepare quickly change it to a positive thought. This practice will help brighten up your day and will help to keep others around you happy as well. We have come to the end of another ECCB Children's Connection program, and we're so happy that you joined us today. So until we meet again, I'm your host, Zahnela Claxton.
And I am your co-host, Ajurni Hall.
Let's talk again soon, but until then, be a responsible consumer, brighten your mindset with positivity, and stay connected!